A new report says Kansas and Oklahoma are in the top 20 when it comes to the number of people vaccinated, but it says Missouri is at number 42. I'm Chris Warner. We're going to take a look at those numbers locally.
The latest details on a school shooting in Knoxville, Tennessee. Joplin City leaders hash out revisions to the city's action plan.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Researchers say the average daily number of COVID-19 cases is climbing in Oklahoma. This is KOAM News at 10. Johns Hopkins University researchers say the rolling average of daily new Oklahoma cases over the past 2 weeks has spiked by 168 cases, or 47.4%. As of Friday, the most recent day for which data are available, Oklahoma averaged 522 new cases over 7 days. The Johns Hopkins COVID-19 death toll for the pandemic in Oklahoma is almost 6,700 out of more than 458,000 cases. That increase in cases comes as a new report finds Oklahoma is among the nation's leaders in vaccination numbers. The website Becker's Hospital Review compiled vaccination data from the CDC for all 50 states and made a list from highest percentage of people vaccinated to lowest. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with health officials in Missouri and Kansas and has more.
That list uses the latest CDC vaccine numbers for each state. It ranks Oklahoma and Kansas in the top 20 and Missouri at number 42. On the Kansas side, 19% of the Crawford County population is fully vaccinated. Crawford County Health Director Teddy Van Kam says numbers have been good.
They had been on the mark, and I'd say in the last 2 weeks, our numbers for our clinics have been going down. I think that we probably have vaccinated a very good portion of people who wanted to be vaccinated.
Van Kam says she knows what may be leading to the decline.
But we're trying to reach out to those who may have some vaccine hesitancy to really try to educate and encourage, because the more people who become vaccinated, fully vaccinated, the quicker that we reach herd immunity.
On the Missouri side, Jasper County has about 12% of the population vaccinated according to the state's website. But Jasper County Health Department Administrator Tony Moore says that number may not be 100% accurate.
Oftentimes they do it by zip code as opposed to specific geographic area. And I think that a lot of our numbers look a little lower just because I think we've got a lot of folks that have Joplin zip codes that don't always turn up showing them as Jasper County residents.
And he agrees with his Crawford County counterpart about vaccine hesitancy.
So I'm hoping that by opening this last week, that the number of people seeking vaccine will improve.
To reach herd immunity, at least 70% of the population needs to be vaccinated, which Van Kam is concerned about.
Realistically, that may not happen. We have to be realists too. But we do want to be able to take every opportunity we have to encourage or to educate.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
To find the latest vaccine numbers for your area, go to koamnewsnow.com/coronavirus. Checking in with Nick Kelly now. It's getting kind of chilly out there, Nick.
Yeah, after a kind of a mild day, it's just a shame it wasn't quite as warm and nice as it was back on our Sunday. 48 degrees, cold, make that a cool start this morning, and topping out around 64, back below our average of 69 for this time of the year. Even though we were mostly cloudy and quiet for much of the day, once we got the evening hours underway, we saw some scattered rain, even a couple of thunderstorms pass by our southeastern counties. You can see that on the looping radar over the past 4 hours. But the other specks of blue popping up in other parts of the viewing area, that's additional moisture up in the clouds trying to bring in some more showers as we venture into the overnight as cloud cover stays in place. Most of us are chilly for sure, sitting in the mid to upper 50s right now, and we'll eventually drop back into the upper 40s as we get the morning commute started. By then, any rain chances from the night should be gone, but I'll keep an eye on the stray shower tomorrow afternoon with highs back near 63. Other rain chances on the way. We'll break that down for you as well in a bit now.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Nick. Authorities find 3 missing Jasper County teens safe in Kansas City. Yesterday, authorities found 14-year-old Alexis Crawford, 16-year-old Morgan Holderman, and 14-year-old Jasmine Marie Holliday. The teens had last been seen at 7th and State Line on April 3rd. The Kansas City Police Department Public Information Officer says in part, quote, The girls were located and are safe. An investigation is underway. At this point, evidence has been sent out for forensics. No one is in custody. Authorities in Jasper County said they could not release any further details. They did say they're sending investigators to Kansas City to conduct interviews. To stay up to date on the latest news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. All you have to do is take out your phone and snap a shot of that QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store where you can download the KOAM News app. Best part, is absolutely free of charge. One man is dead and 2 others injured following a crash in Woodson County, Kansas. That crash happened Saturday on U.S. Highway 75 and 10th Road, 10 miles south of Yates Center. According to the Kansas Highway Patrol, 83-year-old Raymond McIntosh of Buffalo, Kansas, failed to yield at a stop sign and hit another vehicle in the intersection. McIntosh died at the hospital. The 2 occupants of the other vehicle were taken to Coffee County Hospital with serious injuries. A shooting at a high school in Knoxville, Tennessee has left a suspect dead and a police officer injured. Reporter Nancy Chen has the latest.
A police officer is among 2 people shot at a Knoxville, Tennessee high school Monday afternoon. Police were called to Austin East Magnet High School just after 3 p.m. following a report of an armed male on campus.
Upon arrival, officers located the individual in the school in a restroom. They ordered him out, but he refused to comply. As officers entered the space, the subject reportedly fired shots, striking an officer. One officer returned fire.
The suspect, identified as a student, was pronounced dead at the scene.
The officer who was shot was transported to a local hospital for treatment.
He's conscious and he's in good spirits. I thanked him for putting his life on the line to protect the students and staff at the school, and he said he'd rather that he be hurt than anybody else.
Tennessee's governor was holding a briefing about virtual learning when he learned of the shooting.
Pray for that situation and for the families and the victims that might be affected by that in our state.
The superintendent tweeted late in the afternoon that the school building was secure. Students were released to their families after officials lifted a lockdown. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
CBS affiliate WVLT reports at least 3 students have died in separate shootings near the school since late January. The FBI and ATF are assisting Knoxville police with that investigation. The police chief in a Minneapolis suburb where a black man was fatally shot during a traffic stop yesterday says he believes the officer who fired intended to use a taser, not a handgun. Authorities today released body cam footage of the encounter. The police chief describes the shooting as an accidental discharge. The man who was shot, 20-year-old Dante Wright, died at the hospital. His death sparked violent protests with officers in riot gear clashing with demonstrators into this morning. There's rioting going on there again now tonight. The Minneapolis area has already been on edge because of the trial of the first of 4 police officers charged in George Floyd's death. Preparations are underway for the funeral of Britain's Prince Philip. The funeral will be held entirely within the grounds of Windsor Castle on Saturday. Crews can be seen using cranes to place structures inside the castle walls to accommodate television coverage of the ceremony. The Duke of Edinburgh will be given a ceremonial royal funeral, not a state funeral, at St. George Chapel. The funeral will be preceded by a minute's silence across the country. Due to COVID-19 protocols, the funeral will be scaled down with only 30 people allowed to attend. Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth, died on Friday. He was 99. Still ahead, the Joplin City Council meets to amend the city's action plan. And the Missouri legislature debates a bill that would change the way stalking crimes are investigated. Joplin's City Council hosted a work session tonight. The biggest thing on the agenda, revisiting action plans that were first introduced back in February. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with City Manager Nick Edwards on what's next for the city and these plans.
This is a Joplin City Council heard from city staff who went over action plans that have been changed after receiving feedback from the last city council meeting back in February.
Correct. The ones that were updated were the ones that had the most discussion previously, and so they're the ones that, there were some lingering questions or some additional thoughts, and so we went through all the meeting video to mark those up, and then brought those back for version 2.
The revised list of action plans includes strategies to improve housing and neighborhoods in Joplin. Joplin City Manager Nick Edwards says these plans are based on feedback from the community. And what the community wants right now is for the city to address its declining neighborhoods and overall appearance.
I think the desire for well-maintained, a beautiful, attractive community is something applicable at all incomes, at all ages, all whatever demographic. I think that's the desire for everyone, is to live in a quality place.
After receiving feedback on these revised plans, Edwards says he feels more confident to move ahead.
Most impactful, I think it's helpful for certainly the city manager and city staff to know if we're on course and we're meeting the council's needs.
Edwards also presented a new action plan to authorize the creation of a museum and theater district.
Had a new action plan to present tonight on behalf of the Arts and Cultural District. Certainly there's some things that we can do to help make sure that there's a vibrant area for arts and theater and museum, and so that was an exciting one to present.
Now, city staff will use feedback from tonight's meeting to continue building upon these plans to improve the city. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The City Council will meet again on May 10th for another work session where they'll finalize their list of action plans. Then they'll take these plans back to the community through public outreach. The Missouri Senate is debating a bill that would change the definition of illegal stalking to include social media and other technology. The bill changes the definition of course of conduct to include the use of technology and third parties. Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast, and later when Pittsburgh High School senior Tyson Weimer steps on the court or field, memories are made. And not just for him, but also for the fans.
Even though it was nice to end the weekend on quite a warm note, unfortunately we couldn't hold on to those warm temperatures today. So instead of upper 70s and lower 80s, we had to make do with lower to middle 60s, thanks to quite a bit more cloud cover prevalent and present across indigo sky. Our time lapse just outside of Seneca, Missouri. And that's how we looked all across the area for today. For much of the day, we couldn't track anything underneath the clouds since we didn't have enough moisture and lift in place. However, at 10:18, we are still finding a few radar echoes trying to fill in across the Kansas-Oklahoma line, a few spots around the Veda. So far, though, if you are south of Interstate 44, you've already gotten a taste of some rain chances this evening, even a couple of thunderstorms as they fired up around Grand Lake and started tracking toward the southern Ozarks in southern Missouri. That's because we have a very subtle wave still working across the state of Kansas. That's what's keeping us in the clouds, and that's what's going to try to keep some rain chances in the forecast as we continue through the rest of the night. For the time being, Joplin, I have you mostly cloudy and dry, but chilly with a reading of 56 at the airport, a north breeze at 8 miles per hour. Looking around the rest of the Joplin metro, we're sitting mainly in the mid-50s, 55 in Carthage, 55 in Pittsburgh, 57 in Baxter, a little bit warmer in Seneca and Miami, where both of you all are sitting at 58. In general, most of us are chilly, mainly in the mid-50s, a few upper 50s, especially in northeast Oklahoma, but everyone is not done dropping off just yet. We'll drop back into the upper 40s for overnight lows for many of you. And then most of us back in the lower 60s tomorrow, even though we're going to have to fight some more cloud cover and maybe dodge a random shower tomorrow afternoon. In terms of where we stand right now, let me widen the view for you. Don't have a lot to show you at first glimpse. I can show you at the surface. We got a cold front that's passed to our south. That's what brought in the colder air for today, and certainly that northerly breeze compared to the southwest wind we had yesterday. It's what's upstairs that's really going to drive our rain chances. We have one wave passing to the north, a weak wave giving us some of our rain chances tonight, but this wave on top of Idaho, that's the one that's going to give us a better shot for rain by the time the weekend gets started. So in the meantime, we'll just take it one day at a time, starting with our Tuesdays. During the overnight, we'll hold on to the clouds, some scattered showers at times, but I think by the time the morning drive gets started, we'll be pretty much dry as we head back to work and school. And as we continue on throughout the day, maybe some partly sunny skies at times, then we'll go back to mostly cloudy skies. Still, temperatures looking pretty mild during the afternoon. 48 to start, 60 by noon. Afternoon highs around 63. I watch for a few showers tomorrow night in our southern counties once again, but the overall emphasis for Wednesday and Thursday is partly sunny and dry with a weak upper level ridge passing by. That does not last long. Here comes that low out of Idaho. That's going to give us our best shot for rain on Friday. And then more waves keeping that gesturing to the south, keeping us in the clouds with rain chances through the weekend. It is not looking like the best of April weekends with the latest 7-day forecast. 63 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday. We drop into the upper 50s while we stay dry on Thursday. But with all the rain and the cloud cover we see on Friday, we might be lucky if we can hit 52 for an afternoon high. We'll stay in the lower 50s through Saturday and Sunday. Thankfully, though, we'll turn mild again next week.
We'll take mild. That sounds pretty good. And actually, it's not too bad even now.
Yeah, and thankfully, this is tolerable, these temperatures for the weekend.
You bet. Thanks, Tex. Still ahead, Webb City baseball hits the road to Carthage. Plus, a lifetime of hard work pays off for Pittsburgh High School senior Tyson Wiemers. Jacob Leonard has that story next.
Pittsburgh High School's Tyson Wiemers has enjoyed some of the biggest moments of his life in his senior year at PHS. Now, for Wiemers, who was on the autism spectrum, those moments are a product of a lifetime of work from himself, his family, and the Southeast Kansas community. A lifetime of hard work is paying off for Pittsburgh senior Tyson Wiemers.
All those things that might be little for some people have been huge to us.
In the last year, Wiemers has won 5 Special Olympics medals, knocked through 3 extra points for the football team, and on the basketball court, beat the buzzer in the Dragons' final home game of the regular season.
It really makes me feel good.
There's no way we'll have that feeling ever again. You go through that whole range of, what you have to go through, and to have him, show up in a game. And these dumb games we play can create, these types of emotions, man. It was wonderful.
Those plays and those moments lasted mere seconds. But for Wiemers, who was on the autism spectrum, they took years of hard work.
Autism can be very sensory based, so there are a lot of sensory issues that we had to deal with. Early on he was scared to death of things like the starting pistol at track and field day, and he got to the point where he could handle cannons going off at football games.
I'd be lying to say that there's moments he went out there and I was terrified.
For him to be able to be in full pads and a helmet, playing football is huge. The fireworks going off at the football games. If you've ever seen Tyson coming out on the field, he's had his fingers through his helmet holes into his ears.
Yeah, it takes a lot of hard work to get out there.
Tyson's an athlete and puts the work in to be successful and to make the most of his opportunities. He does that. There's nothing given to him. Tyson's earned everything he's gotten because he's put the work in just like all the others. So, it's a cool story, but that kid works for everything he gets.
Tyson's impact goes beyond the numbers he puts in the stat sheet.
Some people have that it factor. They gravitate people towards them. They uplift people. Tyson's one of those kids, and it doesn't take long to understand that. So anybody who's ever met Tyson remembers him.
Right now,
this thing is about to get blasted.
He's focused on golf, his favorite sport, and enjoying his final months wearing the Pittsburgh purple.
Have fun being a dragon.
While his high school career will come to a close, Wiemers has left his mark at PHS.
Every one of those moments was just, off the chart special, and things you never forget.
And Pittsburgh and the rest of the Southeast Kansas community has left its mark on Tyson and his family.
I don't want any of it to come to an end. That boy lives for school, and everybody from administration to teachers to coaches to the kids have made sure that his school experience has been awesome.
Thank goodness for those beautiful people at the high school and middle school and even elementary school that let him go in the game and gave him a chance to be included and be involved, and we just thank the world, all those people that let him do that.
Tyson's family says he will find a job and start working after graduation. Now, in June 2022, he will represent the state of Kansas on the golf course at the Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida. Now, finally, we do have a little baseball tonight. Carthage, fresh off their Bill O'Dell Tournament Championship, hosting Webb City. The Cardinals win it in a shutout, 8-0. Webb City is now 12-2 overall this season. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Corporal Burgess Tabor. The Riverton, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army during World War II. And we are proud to salute Corporal Burgess Tabor, tonight's four-state hero. Christ the Redeemer, one of the most famous statues in the world, is about to get some competition. Brazil is building a taller statue of Christ in the city of Encantado in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul. The new statue, named Christ the Protector, will be 140 feet high with its pedestal. That's 16 feet higher than Christ the Redeemer. Its width from hand to hand will be 118 feet. Christ the Protector construction is underway. It's scheduled to be inaugurated this September, according to the association that coordinates the work. The project is fully funded with donations by the city's residents and businesses. Getting kind of chilly out there at the moment, Nick Kelly.
Thankfully, the cloud cover will only keep us in the upper 80s for most for overnight lows. 63 tomorrow, maybe a stray shower in the afternoon. Quiet Wednesday, Thursday with highs in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and better rain chances. They're going to start ramping up on Friday.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.